Welcome to What's the Deal with Sam? Starring Sam Lilly. Join Sam as he discusses a wide variety of topics.
Batman.
Now let's start the show.
Thank you. What's the deal with clicker games? They're like apps with the ground. So clicker games are, they're a thing that I've just noticed a little more recently, and there's stuff, like there's Cookie Clicker, and there's like Adventure Capitalist. The one that I played a lot was Clicker Heroes, and there's a bunch of others. And basically the idea of clicker games is just that you click on things is really all of the gameplay. You just click on things, and it'll have some kind of aesthetic with them, some kind of reason, You click on things, you get in-game currency, you buy upgrades that either, help you click on things to make your clicks better and get more currency, or things that will click for you so that you can have the game idle, or, shut the game off, come back to it after it's been, auto-clicking for how long for you while you were away, and you can get currency and stuff without even really actively playing it. And I think these games are ridiculous, just a tad ridiculous in that, I understand the appeal. Okay, first off, I'm going to say that when you first start, you're clicking things, this is easy, it's simple, I can get into it. And it's addicting because you click on things, you get stuff, you upgrade things, there's progress. Well, this is cool, I want to see all this new stuff and keep unlocking things and do all of this stuff. And that's cool, that's pretty cool. And so it's easy to get into it and get addicted to doing that. But the thing is, it takes a long time, and you're building up towards, basically, the more you play, you're kind of making it so that, the more you try to do things in there, it's building up towards you doing less. The goal is so that you can, get tons of output, lots of in-game currency, and get lots of upgrades without, really actively playing it that much. Because sitting there and clicking gets very boring and tiresome very quickly. And the sad thing is that that's the only real gameplay besides clicking on other things to upgrade them so they can auto-click for you. It's just less clicks for you to do, and it's taking away the already small bit of gameplay that you have. So your goal is to, have less gameplay, and to have the game ultimately play itself while you sort of guide it, I guess. In fact, if there was a program you could do to auto-buy upgrades and such, you wouldn't even have to play it at all, and you could just watch it happen. And what's the point? To have a game play itself? It's not really fun. That's just going on and buying that stuff and checking it. It turns into like a chore, and it's boring, and it's tedious, and the thing that sucks, too, is that you start to learn that as you're going, you get more currency and you're getting upgrades, but as you do that, getting more upgrades costs more currency. So you have to get more currency to buy more upgrades, to get more currency, to buy higher priced upgrades, and it's just increasing numbers. It just scales, just bigger numbers, and it's just all numbers. It's clicking and scaling numbers. So when it comes right down to it, usually it's roughly doing the same thing the entire time. It's just that the numbers keep getting bigger, so you're not really making much progress at all. And the feeling of making progress, aside from getting maybe a couple of new looking things that are supposed to help you continue to do that process, there's just not much there. It's just the same shit. And it gets to this point where basically, there's a lot of them where it gets to a point where it's like, okay, like, why don't you try to do this thing where you reset? And you'll get something for resetting. You can get, these little perks and bonuses and stuff so that you can, make more money, or you have better clicks, or your auto-clicking is better to start with. Perks that you'll have, so like, you'll start back at the beginning, but you'll be able to come back faster because you have, all of these perks. Which is stupid because while you get that little bit of a perk, a little bit of a boost for doing that, you just destroyed all of that progress. Maybe you've been playing this game for like a week and decided to do that. And, you know, it's probably going to take a few less hours to do it all again with that little perk, but you still have to do all that over again, and you're mostly just losing progress and time, and it's still not fun to play. It's still the same kind of gameplay. They just gave you a little bit of a perk. And it gets to the point where it's like, why even bother? This is a game where you're trying to make the game play itself, and you're just, you know, increasing the size of your numbers. It's just scaling numbers, and all the only gameplay you really do is deciding, you know, like, okay, do I want my you know, these numbers to scale higher, or these numbers to scale higher, or do I want to, you know, like, do I want to make it so that when I'm clicking, my clicks are better, so I have to click less? And the whole gameplay of it is just clicking on things, clicking on the stuff, clicking to progress, clicking on your options that you're selecting, and it's just clicking, idling, you know, logging off, coming back later, selecting stuff by clicking. That's it. There's like no real gameplay. It's not rewarding, and it sucks. And I don't know why people. I fail to see why people play these games. You know, like, it's ridiculous, and it's just. I guess after playing them, you know, like Clicker Heroes for like I played that for like a few weeks, I think, and then I decided this game is bad. This is boring. And the thing is, really, they're barely games. They're like, as games, they are horrible. They're fine as like little apps on your phone, I guess. You know, like, oh, I'm bored. I'm gonna do this for like a few seconds while I, you know, wait for a thing. And like, okay. You know, I'm taking a shit, I'll just play this whole thing on my phone, I guess. But, you know, you're on, or if you're like on Facebook, and you're like, I'm waiting for somebody to reply to a thing, so I'll just stay on Facebook and do this bullshit. Whatever. But as an actual just game, like as something, you know, where been finding these like on Steam, it's not worth your time to like actually dedicate to playing these games, or even to idle them and have them running in the background. It's just a waste. It's annoying because you could just not play the game, and then that's one less chore for you to do while you're, you know, doing stuff. And yeah, the only reason that you would even want to bother starting one of these, aside from the appeal that there might be progress, which is usually slashed, and, you know, that the gameplay is simple, which there becomes increasingly less gameplay anyways, and it becomes mind-numbing, that the small bit that there is. It's just the aesthetic. So, some of them look cool. I guess Clicker Heroes look neat, with the whole fighting monsters thing and having heroes. So basically, what I'm saying is clicker games are like real games with the ground. What's the deal with sand? 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 I mean, I got Sakura Clicker, but I mean, it has boobs. It's totally different. And yes, I wore the shirt.